Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from PJ Media dated May 30th. And it's kind of a satirical article in a little bit of, in a way, but it says Israeli airstrike kills 2 Bazillion starving children, or maybe 0. So this is coming on the heels of there was an Israeli airstrike that killed a bunch of civilians, and oh wait, it turns out that everybody that analyzed it, including intelligence agencies, was like, there's no way the thing that Israel used could have done the damage that it did, and it was because Hamas had put civilians in the way of munitions that they had, and the explosions were like a bunch of secondary explosions. So it's basically, again, Hamas's fault that a bunch of people died. So we'll go right into this. This is the Israeli airstrike in Rafah that killed dozens of civilians on Sunday, the one even Bibi Netanyahu called a tragic mistake, isn't what everyone said it was. You mean the Palestinians lied? Again? I mean, if you're believing anything that they say at this point, man, I got some rainforest in Nebraska to sell you. Because the claim was that the Israeli Air Force, or IAF, hit a camp for displaced Palestinians, killing at least 45 people and wounding more than 200 others, assuming all those people were killed and injured as Hamas claimed, of course, which, again, is probably a lie, but not probably, it's a lie. But a close look at the actual evidence reveals that wasn't what happened. So I won't get too technical or lost in the weeds on this one because the broad strokes are all you'll need to see through Hamas's lies. Because while I've read several reports, different reports over the last 24 hours clearing Israel, this one is the most succinct, as the TLDR is below, or too long, didn't read. The CNN, so keep in mind, not a right-wing publication for all you lefties out there, CNN defense analysts have now determined that the Israeli airstrike on May 26th against a Hamas compound in western Rafah, which is believed to have possibly caused an explosion and fire which resulted in the death of between 35 to 45 Palestinian refugees, could not have been, and let's go ahead and click on that embedded tweet, could not have been completely caused by the Israeli airstrike due to the size of the explosion. Shrapnel and parts which were discovered in the rubble of the Hamas compound, which was roughly 200 meters from the UNRWA refugee camp, suggest that the strike was carried out using 2 GBU-39 small diameter bomb with 250-pound warheads. That is Greek to me. It says these bombs would have not been nearly powerful enough to have caused the explosion at the camp, nor would have been large enough to cause any kind of splash damage to the camp, which again was over a kilometer from the strike location. This analysis suggests that what the Israeli defense officials have so far suggested is likely true, which is that Hamas munitions which were hidden roughly halfway between the compound and camp, were detonated by shrapnel from the airstrike, causing the explosion of multiple fuel tanks at the refugee camp and the eventual fire. Oh look, Hamas was the bad guys. Didn't see that coming. And here come all the ads for here. Let's get rid of those. It says, so here's again the TLDR. It says the IAF used small diameter bombs to successfully take out 2 Hamas leaders who were not in the refugee camp. The bombs were too small to cause the explosion seen on the video. They were in fact secondary explosions created by Hamas weapons cache placed right next to the camp. Hamas stores weapons and embeds themselves with civilians, and not to create human shields. What it wants is dead civilians, even when it has to make them up, which is something that they absolutely do. You can find that video of that basically everywhere. And it can be used for propaganda purposes. Death is Hamas's business, and business is good. It says, but the facts don't seem to much matter. It says Hamas got its propaganda out quick and dirty, as it always does. Jerusalem bowed to international pressure, given force because of Hamas propaganda, to conduct an investigation into an airstrike that it likely already knew wasn't what Hamas claimed. While the Israeli military was going through the motions to find out what really happened, Hamas and its compatriots in the media had already set the narrative. As Netanyahu's wartime cabinet could be doing a better job, more importantly, a faster job. As one ex-user posted last night, Israel wins the war of truth over lies but loses the battle of world opinion. Why? They take too long to verify every fact and need to change their modus operandi and respond immediately with imperfect data on the likely cause of an incident to mitigate the Hamas propaganda. And I don't know if they're going to do that, or I don't know, but I don't know why they don't do that. It says, indeed, falsehood flies, Jonathan Swift wrote in 1710, and the truth comes limping after it. Jerusalem had better start getting its version out just as quickly as Hamas does and make any necessary corrections later. I could do a better job too, the author said. Says the Sunday airstrike news didn't pass a sniff test, but instead of immediately writing about why that was, I waited for the analysis to come in, as we all should whenever anything like this happens in this war, because in all likelihood, as you've noticed a number of times already, Hamas is just propaganda. Says, but the worst problem the truth faces rests, as always, with the Biden administration. The White House again played both sides of the story. On the one hand, spokesweasel John Kirby parroted Hamas propaganda, calling the deaths devastating. On the other hand, he said the airstrike would not be enough to change American policy towards arming Israel. What the world needs to see and hear is an American president with the moral fiber to announce that Hamas is an organization built on murder and lies, and that this country will refrain from making any statements about Hamas's claims until after the truth is known. My administration, this president would say, does not repeat or reinforce the unproven claims of terrorist organizations. Needless to say, we do not have that president. That is true. So I just wanted to put this out there and say that, yeah, the new talking point from Hamas that Israel bombed a bunch of civilians at a refugee camp is completely false. And all you people that keep parroting Hamas propaganda, you're stupid, the media sucks, and, well, we know this is going to happen. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.